So this is a very divisive time in politics, in the election, with the pandemic, a lot of different views. How do you deal with people yourself who maybe you totally disagree with? And how should people see that?
Well, I've been saying since the last election that it doesn't really matter who's in office. Because the problem is not who's in office at the moment. The problem is the attitude of our country that leads to who's in office. And when one side wins and one side loses, and one side wins and one side loses, then the loser just wants revenge, right? So I think what struck me the most in the last election was there are whole groups of people I did not know. Whole groups of people I did not understand. I mean, I deal with a lot of people as a priest. I deal with a lot of people in my activities in the community. But that slice of blue-collar workers, I just don't really have too much interaction with them. And I don't understand them as much as I should. So I've been trying to listen. Been trying to ask important questions. I've been trying to seek out people that I wouldn't normally spend time with, or not for any other reason than just it doesn't happen in the course of my life, and say what's important to you and what are you struggling with, and how are things, what do we agree on, where are the points that we can come together on and agree with. So two amazing things. When you hear someone's story, it changes you. You cannot hear someone's story and not be moved by it, not be changed by it. And so that opens up the compassion a little bit to say, oh, okay, so now I understand why, because of what's happened in your life, not in a demeaning or I look down on you or poor you kind of way, but, oh, okay, so who you are makes sense to me now. And I can offer you the respect of hearing the journey of your life. Hearing someone's story makes all the difference. And saying it's a value to me to find points of contact with you and connection and things that we agree on. That's a value to me. And so how can we do that? And once you say those things, most people are, and take the politics out and but if you say a problem, hunger, what can we agree on? We can always find something.
You did not grow up in Youngstown. You grew up outside of Chicago.
I did.
What was life like for you there?
Well, Chicago, it's a great place. But one of the reasons I'm so comfortable here is there's a lot of parallels between Chicago and Youngstown in terms of ethnicities, in terms of values, in terms of weather, a lot of the same weather. But I grew up in a suburb of Chicago. My dad was a Chicago fireman, and because he was a Chicago fireman, was not allowed to live in the suburbs. So we kind of led this secret life in the suburbs so that the kids could get a good education, and it was a great place to grow up. It was very white. It was very middle class. It was very protected. I went to Loyola University for college, which is in the city, and it was a real shock to me to see poverty, to see Black people, to see homeless people, to see dirty sidewalks, and it was just, I grew up a lot.
Was the church a big part of your family life?
Absolutely, yeah. My family was Polish National Catholic. There was at least one Polish National Catholic church in Youngstown, and so I know there's some connection to Youngstown with that. Not anymore, but there was, which is a breakaway church from Roman Catholicism. My mother's mother and her family were very involved in the founding of that church in the city of Chicago. And so church to me was always about struggle. It was always about commitment. It was always about giving as much as you can, about being different and being proud of that. My grandma would talk about how she was persecuted, essentially, bullied for being Polish National Catholic, and taught us that faith is a commitment, that God will always take care of you and love you and protect you. But even in her elder years, when she was in her late 80s, she would always give to the church first. Even when she didn't have enough money for food, she would give to the church first.
When did you decide you wanted to be a priest?
Oh, well, so I'll tell you the story and you can edit it out if you hate it. So when I was in 8th grade, I was at my best friend Gina Fletcher's house, and her mother was Baptist, and she would pray before the meal like nobody's business. I mean, and that was not my tradition, so sometimes they were long prayers. But at one point she was praying before the meal. And all of a sudden I heard her say, "Gayle, what is God asking you to do with your life?" I'm like, "What?" Not what I was expecting, let's just say. And I said, "I'm 13, do I have to decide now?" And she said, "You ask God what God wants you to do with your life." And then she went on praying. So, I'm an oldest child and I'm pretty obedient. So I went home, and in the privacy of my room, I said, "God, I didn't know I was supposed to ask you what I was supposed to do with my life. So I'm sorry about that, because I just didn't know. I thought I was going to be a doctor. So what do you want me to do with my life?" And very clearly I heard, "I want you to be a priest." And I said, "So I'm sure it has not escaped your attention that there aren't women priests in the Polish National Catholic Church. Just saying, that doesn't seem possible." And God said, "I want you to be a priest." So, while that didn't seem possible for a long, long time, there was a journey there, and it was always clear to me that everything I did in my life led up to being ordained, which I wasn't until I was older. But it was a long journey to get there, and I wasn't always sure that it would happen. And I was actually kind of okay with that. I was a social worker. I ran homeless shelters, and then I was a therapist in private practice for a long time, and I really liked all of that. But it was always clear to me that that was not the end, that was the means. And so it's always, all those things have worked me to this place. And actually, being a therapist in private practice for 10 years was the best preparation for the priesthood ever.
And you found the Episcopal Church.
I did.
Through all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty early on, actually. I was still in college when I joined the Episcopal Church. I felt welcomed. I felt valued. I knew I was going to eventually become a priest, or I thought I would. And this was a place where that was embraced, where that was honored and listened to and valued. Not guaranteed, but valued. So it's worked out pretty well for me.
Built for the 21st century American workforce, Eastern Gateway Community College has 2 campuses and is a national leader in online learning. EGCC.edu is a digital gateway where 30,000 students are quickly transforming their financial futures through degrees, certificates, transferable credits, and higher-paying jobs. And now, residents of the Mahoning Valley can enroll in summer classes for free. It's the EGCC Summer Guarantee. Eastern Gateway. America's new workforce starts here.